All right, guys, we are going to do 12.3b today. This is your second to last lesson that you will be learning, and it is 3x3 matrices. So we did a bunch of 2x2 stuff in the last two lessons. Now these next two, 12.3b and 12.4b, are going to be dealing with 3x3s. And the process that we're going to do, determinant and find the inverse, all that, is pretty much the same process as we did with 2x2s, but now 3x3s. But I am going to show you one thing that you're going to be doing by hand. You did determinant by hand. This is fancier. So finding the determinant by hand is what we're going to start with, and then I'll show you on your calculator how we do this. Now, if you're reading in the book on this, this is not the book version. The book does it a different way. I'm not going to do that way. I'm just sticking with Mrs. Price on this, and this is the way she's always done it, and I like it, so we're going with it. If you want to do it the book way, it's not wrong, but I'm just not going to cover that at all. Okay, so here's how you do it. If you are given a matrix, a 3x3, so -1, 3, 5, 2, -4, 6, and 0, 1, -1. Okay, this is our matrix. When we're going to find the determinant by hand, what you do is you rewrite this without the brackets. So -1, 3, 5, 2, -4, 6, and 0, 1, -1. And then what you actually do is you're going to write in the first two columns again next to it. So we're going to take these two columns and we're going to drop them in here and here. Okay, so it's -1, 2, and 0, and then 3, -4, and 1. Okay, so now you have essentially 3x5 is what you're looking at. And now it's pretty similar. It's not exactly the same, but very similar to what we did before. What you're going to be looking at are the diagonals. So starting at the top left, you are going to take these three, this first diagonal, and you're going to multiply them. -1 times -4 times -1, okay? And then we're going to add to that the product of the second diagonal. So this would be 3 times 6 times 0. 0 is like our best friend in multiplication. And then the last one, we're going to multiply 5 times 2 times 1. Okay, so when we do that, we get -4 plus 0 plus 10. Okay, so that comes out to 6. Okay. Then we're going to switch it up and we're going to do our diagonals the other way. So now we're going to start at the bottom left and we're going to pull out our diagonals this way. So it's going to be this one, which is 0 times -4 times 5, plus now this diagonal, which is 1 times 6 times -1, and then this diagonal, which is -1 times 2 times 3. Okay, so we take that, and now we simplify this one. This is 0 plus a -6 plus a -6. So that gets us a -12. Okay, and if you remember before, what we did with this is we just subtracted. So the first set of diagonals minus the second set. So 6 minus a -12 is 18. Okay, so that's our determinant. Our determinant is 18. That's if you find it by hand. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing we're going to be doing is when you use the calculator. So let me give you this setup. And I will give you a document that has some instructions on how to do this. Or I just recommend you take good notes here so that it makes sense as we go through it. So let's say this is our matrix A, okay? Now, what I want you to check for me real quick, if you click alpha, that's the green button on mine. I'm not sure what it is on the new calculators. I have the TI-84 Plus. So if I click alpha zoom, what it shows on my screen is this. So what I did, just to recap real quick here, I clicked alpha and then zoom, okay? What happens is you end up with this matrix setup, and you can choose a 3 by 3 and then hit OK, and you can just drop your matrix right in and work with it that way. I don't know if everybody has that on their calculator, so I'm going to show you this first one, the more old school way that walks you through all the different pieces of it, but I will show you that one in a little bit as well for anybody that wants to do it that way. So here's what we're going to do for now, okay? You are going to, on your calculator, and I'm just going to write the buttons down here for the sake of notes right now. So you're going to hit the second key, and then you're going to hit the X to the -1 button, because that's where it says, if you notice in blue on mine, it says matrix right above it, okay? And then you're going to hit edit, and then you're actually going to enter the matrix. Okay, so I'm going to do that with you right now just to make sure that everyone is clear on what we're doing. So second, the X to the -1 button, that's 3 buttons below your second key there. Okay, and you should right now see all the names of them, A, B, C, D, E, F, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. You probably don't have anything else there. I have like 3 by 3 written on mine because I have a 3 by 3 stored already. But what you're going to do is you're going to shift over to edit, and then in edit hit enter at number 1, and then you can tell it what size matrix. So right now we're putting in a 3 by 3, so you're going to hit 3, enter, 3, enter, and it will pop up a 3 by 3 matrix. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to put all of these numbers in. So 1, enter, -1, enter, 2, enter, 0, enter, 4, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, -6, enter, 10, enter. Okay. Now from here, you're gonna have to quit out of this. You don't want to hit clear. Okay. You want to hit second, and then mode is the button. What's right above it is quit. So we're just trying to quit out of this, okay? So second, quit. And then you're gonna go back to matrix. So the next thing you do, you hit second, and then X to the -1 again. So second, matrix. And now from here, you should see your 3 by 3 stored. In your list, it'll say number 1, A, and then right next to it, it should say 3 by 3 now. Okay, that means you have a 3 by 3 stored for matrix A. And we're just always going to use matrix A just to make sure we're always using the right one. So now you're going to do arrow over to math. Okay, and then you see number 1 there is the determinant. So hit number 1 or determinant. Should just be able to hit enter at that point. Okay, and then you're gonna go to matrix again. So second x to the negative 1, which is your matrix. And then you can just hit enter. At number 1, because we want to put our matrix A in there, and then hit enter one more time. Sorry, and you should see that your determinant of matrix A, which is what we're finding right now, right? We clicked on determinant. Your determinant is 22. Okay, so it's a lot of buttons and jumping around. But it's a lot of the same buttons. You just have to go back and do different things in it again. Okay, so that's finding the determinant. When they say find the determinant of A, this would be your process. Okay, then they will also say find the inverse. Okay, and for this one, we already have A stored, so you're going to go second, and then you are going to hit your matrix, right, x to the negative 1, so second matrix, and then you're going to select A, so just hit enter and it will select it for you. So you should have on your screen matrix A right now, and then from there you're going to just hit the button x to the negative 1. So that's the inverse, right? X to the negative 1. So you're taking the inverse of matrix A, and let me just show you a picture of that. So you should have this on your screen. Okay, this is what yours should look like. So you had A, you hit it, make it that to the negative first, so the inverse of A, and then hit enter, and you get all these numbers, 2.3636, are just ugly numbers. All you need to do from there is you want to, once you hit enter, so enter again would give you that. I believe I wrote that right. Then what you're going to do is hit math. Okay, that's the third button down below second on that left-hand side. And then hit fraction. Okay, so math, and then it's that first one. You can just hit enter. Okay, enter again. And now what you should see is your inverse. The beautiful thing is it's not beautiful, but you don't have to solve for them. Your calculator will do it. So it's all these fractions. 26 over 11, negative 1 over 11, negative 5 over 11, 3 over 11, 2 over 11, negative 1 over 11, negative 6 over 11, 3 over 22, and 2 over 11. Okay, so that's the whole process, and you get that set up. Okay, one more of these. Okay, so for this one, let's say you have matrix A, and it is negative 3, 2, negative 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, negative 2, and 0 is your matrix A. Okay, now I'm going to show you the quicker way to find the inverse if you want to use alpha zoom. Doesn't store it in your calculator, but it's just a quick way to get there. So if you want to do the quicker way, you're going to hit alpha and then zoom. Okay, so alpha is the green button, zoom is the middle of those top 5 buttons that kind of are off on their own. And then you're going to click over to row 3, hit enter, column 3, hit enter, and then hit OK. And it gives you a 3 by 3 right in your normal screen. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it in. -3, hit enter. Actually, you can just arrow over. That's right. -3, 2, arrow over, -1, arrow over, 2, arrow over, 5, arrow over, 2, and then 1, -2, and 0. Okay, so in your calculator right now, you should be seeing this. Okay, so I just entered it in, and it is right here. Okay, and now because that's on a normal screen, then all I have to do is hit x to the -1, and it's going to take the inverse of that, and then you hit enter, and you get, so when they say find the inverse, that would be 4, 2, 9, 2, 1, 4, -9, -4, -19. And that would be your inverse. So the alpha zoom way is real quick for finding an inverse. But some of you, I think all of you have it actually. I think I checked earlier in the year and you all had this same calculator as me. So I think you all have it if you want to find the inverse that way. If you want to find the inverse the other way, let me just talk you through that again real quick. You would go second matrix, edit. I'm just going to talk you through it. I'm not going to write it all down again. Edit, hit enter at A, and then it's a 3, enter 3. It's a 3 by 3, which we already have. Hit enter again, and now you put in that matrix. So -3, enter 2, enter -1, enter, and just be really careful. If you enter something wrong here, it's going to make everything wrong. So you want to make sure you put all your numbers in perfectly. So that's what I'm doing. I put all my numbers in, okay, and then once those are all in, you go second quit, and then once you quit, now you are going to hit second matrix, or the x to the -1 again, okay, and you should see that you have a 3 by 3 stored there, and then you're going to enter on that first one, and you should see the A on your screen like this, and then you do the button that's x to the -1. So what you're seeing on your screen when you do that is this, and then hit enter, and you should see that same inverse that you have right there. Okay, so that is 12.3b.